Hi there, I'm Lindsay, and I'm excited to welcome you to my first video on my little corner of the internet. Whether you are a curious parent or a fellow educator or someone who just finds it satisfying to watch classroom content, or you're interested in becoming a teacher, I'm so glad you're here. I am made for you. We are made for each other. So, since this is my first video on this account, my goal today in this video is just to tell you a little bit more about me and my education experience and my background. That way, this account is more meaningful. So, let's get started. So, my journey into education began when I was pretty young. I was like 16 or 17, and I was ready to start my first job. So I became a swim instructor, and I immediately fell in love with it. I really enjoyed seeing kids making progress because of my input and my motivation and my positivity, and seeing them progress from being so afraid of the water to having great swimming skills, great water safety skills was so satisfying to me. So at the time, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, you should consider becoming a teacher's assistant." And I was like, "Oh, okay. You're right. I should do that. That sounds really interesting," because I was really ready to get out of the water. I don't know if you've ever worked in a pool before, but it like eats at your skin. So after like 3 years, I couldn't anymore. So I got a job as a teacher's assistant at a wonderful school that I actually still work at today, but we'll get there in a second. My experience interviewing was wonderful. I told her what subject I was really comfortable teaching and what I was really good at when I was in school. Again, this was my first experience ever like speaking to a principal outside of me being a student, like when I was in high school, middle school, elementary. You got it. So I was like out of my comfort zone. I was 18. I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to fake it till I make it. So I came in with my resume and I was really prepared and I just was myself. I was genuine and I got the job. And almost immediately after, they were like, "Hey, do you also want to work aftercare?" And I was like, okay, like I have the time. I'm not doing anything and I could use the money. So I became a teacher's assistant from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then immediately became an aftercare counselor from 2:15 to 6 o'clock every day. So for 4 years, I worked 7 to 6, 5 days a week, like a crazy person. But in that time, the experience that I gained, number one, learning from the teachers that I was interacting with and pulling small groups for every day and watching how they lesson plan and their classroom their classroom management strategies. They communicated with parents, how they conferenced with parents, what their 504 meetings were like, what their IEP meetings were like. I would sub for them when they had these meetings so they would go over their lesson plans with me. It was so meaningful to me that time, and I gained so much experience, and that's what really solidified my mind, like what helped me make my decision. And I was like, you know what, yeah, I want to be a teacher. This was probably 2019, and I was like, okay, I'm going to switch from getting a degree in nursing to getting a degree in education. So that's what I did. I got my bachelor's in education. I am now pursuing my master's in education, but we'll get there. Like I said, the experience that I learned from being a teacher's assistant and an aftercare counselor was wonderful. In those 4 years, I finished my degree, and then I got lucky and a teacher at that school. Tammy, I love you. I know you're not watching this, but I love you and I still think of you every single day. She was leaving, so I interviewed for her second grade position. I got it because I was already working at that school. Honestly, I barely interviewed. The principal was like, "Yeah, please, like, take the job." So I taught second grade at the school that I was a teacher's assistant and an aftercare counselor at, and I felt really comfortable in that role. It was great. And then my friends and I decided to move to Colorado. So again, I'm from South Florida. We moved to Colorado. I taught fifth grade in Colorado. I went through, if you're familiar, the Aspire to Teach program in Colorado. And that led me into where I am today, which is getting my master's in curriculum and instruction with a focus in critical pedagogy from the University of Colorado, Denver. So again, I finished the Aspire to Teach program. That led to me getting my master's. And then I moved back to South Florida, back to the same school that I was teaching at before. I taught fourth grade there last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was actually really cool, very magical, because the class that I taught last year in fourth grade was the same class that I had and taught in second grade. So they were my first class ever. So I got to have them again in fourth grade. And truly, like, I cried tears of joy. That was so wonderful. I already knew the parents, I knew the vibes. I could just continue to build on those relationships. It It was amazing. So this year I'm teaching 4th grade again, same school, same classroom, same position. Okay, so that's pretty much my background in education and how I got to where I am today. And now I have a whole bunch of other questions that I want to go over. So I totally chat GPT questions. And I was like, if you were watching an introduction, get to know you video for a teacher, what would you want to know? So the first question was, what are 3 words you would use to describe your teaching style? So I had to play around with this. So I would say, and it's really 4 words because you'll see. So my first is I use humor. I'm literally so sarcastic and like cracking jokes with my kids all day because that's just like how I am. So when you do something ridiculous, I'm going to be sarcastic back with you. It just is what it is. My second word to describe my teaching style would be we're very calm. The way I'm talking to you now, like I'm not yelling, I'm not raising my voice. I don't want to. We're calm. I'm not screaming at you. You're not screaming at me. We're just going to have a conversation. Thank you. And then the third word I would use to describe my teaching style is respectful. So humor, calm, respectful. Respectful is a big one for me because I definitely experienced teachers growing up when I was a student that were not respectful towards students of color, students that didn't speak English, students with learning disabilities. Like there was just a bit more stigma and like teachers were jerks. So respect is very much at the top of my list for me. So next question is, what is the theme of my classroom? This year and last year, I had like a mountain nature theme. I'll see if I can find some pictures to put on the screen here. I'm sticking with it this year because it's my favorite and it's very chill. I am no longer at the point in my teaching career where I'm spending hundreds of dollars during the summer to prepare it with like aesthetic supplies. No. I'm going to invest that money instead. I'm not spending it on classroom decor. Sorry. If anyone wants to know about how I manage my money as a teacher or any type of investment stuff that I'm doing on a low income, since we all know teachers don't make a lot of money, please comment because I would love to talk about that. I've learned so much about it and I'm so passionate to share what I know. That's literally the purpose of this account. I want to share what I know to you. Is what's playing on your way to work. So as I was just talking about, I love podcasts. I love audiobooks about finances and investing and saving money and side hustles and social media and teacher tips, productivity tips, grad school tips. Like I am always listening to and absorbing some type of content, whether it's YouTube videos, TED Talks, podcasts, audiobooks. Like I said, literally that's always what I'm listening to. My Spotify Wrapped is podcasts and audiobooks. It's not music. Just saying. Okay, last question. My favorite question so far is, what does your after school routine look like? So 3 days a week. Last year I was a nanny after school. So basically my 3 to 7 was just childcare, again, picking them up, showering, activities, schoolwork, tutoring, all the stuff. So that is what some of my nights look like after school. Other nights are I'm meeting with my friends, I'm watching a movie with my girlfriend. Most of the time, I am continuing to work. To be honest, I'm either making content for TikTok or editing videos or filming YouTube videos or learning about how to film YouTube videos, learning about how to edit content, learning about what gear to use. I am going for a walk with Bean. I'm going to a yoga class. I'm doing a workout, doing an at-home workout. I'm also, side note, getting my yoga certification because I also want to be a yoga teacher, yoga instructor. So I'm studying for that. Like I do so much outside of my classroom. I'm doing grad work. I'm doing endorsement classes. Like I'm literally always working. So again, this was just a video to help you learn more about me and my experience as an educator and why I'm starting this channel and where my information and my content is coming from and what it's geared towards. So I thank you for watching if you're still here. Again, more of my videos once school starts will be very like teacher tip or behind the scenes of a teacher, more just like that's more my style. So stick around for those if you're interested, and thanks for watching.